In case you haven't heard by now, Google has released a brand new state-of-the-art image generation model that finally makes it feel like we're living in the future. This model is so good that it has the potential to completely change not just image editing tools like Canva and Photoshop, but even entire industries like photography, animation, and film creation. So today we're going to try and understand a little bit how the new model works, aptly named Nano Banana or Gemini 2.5 Flash, and explore a few of the game-changing applications that the new model has. We're going to look at how you can use it for free on Google's own platform and a few tools that have integrated it, opening up tremendous amount of potential in your workflow. So, what makes Gemini 2.5 Flash or Nano Banana so special? Nano Banana is actually two models. It's a image generation model and a editing model. The generation model is a pretty standard image generation model. What makes it stand out is the images that it produces are extremely high quality. It's free from many of the problems that we see with other image generation models, such as distortion, problem with faces, hands, and so on. It's amazing at following prompts and giving you incredible results, high quality, crisp, and detailed. Part of what allows the Gemini model to do all of this is it seems to be combined with a world model, giving the model an incredible understanding of the world around us, allowing us to prompt all kinds of things, draw from all kinds of knowledge, and get the results that we want. Now, if you take all of this ability and put it into an editing model, that's where things start to go a little bit crazy. So to illustrate this, we're going to jump into Google AI Studio. The link for this will be down in the description below. You can start using Nano Banana Gemini 2.5 Flash for free here. I don't know if it's going to be permanently available for free, but I do know that because it is free, there are currently having some capacity issues. So later on, we'll go through some other tools where you can use Nano Banana if you're having issues using it on Google AI Studio. So let's test out the model's world knowledge a little bit without getting into the editing component first. So let's start with generate an image of Minas Tirith as an island. In case you don't know, this is a castle from Lord of the Rings. Let's see if it can recognize that and change the environment that it's in. And generally with Google AI Studio, you want to use terminology like generate, imagine, and so on. Okay, not bad. This does look like Minas Tirith. If you've seen the movie, you'll recognize the stepped castle from the movies. And what's even really cool is you'll see here in the detail the kind of smaller walls and buildings that represent the chaos of the lower levels that I remember seeing in the movie. So not a bad choice so far. Let's try something a little bit more niche and specific. I used to go to a restaurant in London on a street called Mortimer. Let's see if it can actually show me an image of that restaurant without actually naming it. Okay, so not that specific. I tried this out because, as you'll see later on in the video, there's a cool little trick that we can do with Google Maps to generate images, but we'll get to that later. In this particular case, it did not get Mortimer Street or the Indian restaurant right. So although it does seem to have some Google Maps information, maybe not that specific. However, before we move on, let's have a quick look at what was generated, because there are a few things here that are already noteworthy. Opening up this image, you'll notice that there's a lot less of the weirdness that we often find with AI-generated images. It's still there, but it's very subtle. The most important thing is it's done a very good job at generating a whole bunch of people without any issues, and this is something that Flux struggled with tremendously. Right? We can see here all of the people look correct. There's absolutely no weirdness to them. The weirdness comes in where you see here, for example, this table that's right next to these guys sitting down has this chair sitting backwards, which, again, you might miss because it's not unrealistic. It could be a tight restaurant with the chair turned around. And up here, things look a little bit odd, but you really gotta hunt for the weirdness. However, we haven't done anything particularly impressive thus far. Let's start to have a little bit of fun. Okay, this is an image from one of my AI-generated characters that we've played around with before on other videos. Let's go ahead and drag her picture into the chat, and let's try a couple of things. So now that we've pulled the image in, Nano Banana is now in edit mode because we've got an image that we're feeding into it. So let's try a couple of simple things. Change the location of the character to a futuristic cyberpunk city. So although you are seeing these results occur in real time, I can tell you that it is a little bit slower than using it on other platforms, again, because this is free. So if we download and look at the two images carefully, we can see that the model has done a phenomenal job of transferring our character over to this new location. We've got the cyberpunk city here in the background. It looks pretty good with the transparency of the image that you can actually see the background coming through extremely well, which means that, part of the main image was regenerated, but there's no artifacting, there's no degradation in quality, which we see in other models when we ask it to do edits and so on. Now, what's really cool with the Google AI Studio chat is we can actually iterate through these images. So now that we've got this one with the cyberpunk style background, let's change it up and let's have it match the woman's clothing. And because we're doing this through the LLM, we have the context of the chat prior to it. And we can see here that she now looks environment appropriate. But let's take it a step further. Make it nighttime with the neon lights being primary source of lighting in the environment. So far, we've changed the environment, the background. Now we're changing the time of day and the impact that the billboards in the background are going to have on everything. So you'll sometimes run into this where, let's say we've put a prompt and you'll see that nothing has changed between the two images. Sometimes what that means is you'll need to just try and reprompt it. So I just added a little bit more elaboration to the prompt. And you'll see I've now hit an internal error. Let's try it one more time. Otherwise, I'm going to shift over to one of the other platforms. Let's try it one more time. And unfortunately, once again, we are still stuck with the same image. And interestingly, we can now start to see a little bit of degradation happening here. We can see on the main characters, you start to see some lines appear. So I'm going to try this one more time, hopping on over to my image and video generation platform where we have Nano Banana also set up. And let's see if we get a slightly better result. So to use it on KaijuGen, once you load up the platform and you've logged in and you've popped in some credits, you can select the model from over here. Just look for the Google models and Gemini 2.5 Flash Nano Banana is there. Over here, you can add in the images that you want, and we've allowed for up to 8 images to get uploaded. I think you can push it up to 10, but I'm still doing some testing to make sure the platform is stable. So let's go ahead and upload the image that we were working on over there with Google. Close that out, drop in the same prompt, and let's see what we get. And I'll also point out the speed at which we're getting that response. We've got the image over here that took about 15 seconds. If we come back over to the free Google AI Studio, you'll see that it's taking about 45 seconds to a minute per generation. So keep that in mind as well. Let's have a look here at the image, and I'm not sure if we're having some issues because it's already a slightly degraded image, but you can see over here that it has applied the lighting and so on. Now, since we are here in KaijuGen, I'll show you guys a little bit how you can take advantage of this. If you're working with an image and you want to edit it, let's say that you've just generated this one and you want to iterate it on it further. If you mouse over, you'll see a bunch of icons over here. Just click on this link icon over here. That'll copy the URL of the image. Then come down over here to the image URLs, drop the link in here, and you'll be able to comment on it further. I am working on adding an edit button to make it even easier, so that should be coming relatively soon. So what are some of the other things that we can do with Nano Banana? We're going to look at a couple of more things, and then we're going to dive into the really interesting stuff. So coming back to our futuristic image character, we've now changed her outfit. We've now changed the background. Let's try and make her a little bit older. Age the woman by 25 years. And we can see here that it has aged our character again quite substantially while maintaining all of the characteristics of the character. It definitely looks like she could be the same person aged a lot more. Now, one thing you'll notice about Nano Banana so far is everything that we've done up to this point is editing an existing image. And that creates a few limitations, as you'll see in just a moment. But let's try a couple of more things. Now, Nano Banana is extremely good at combining two images. So now I'm going to show you how we can take a fashion flat lay like this one and apply it to our character. Let's go ahead and drag that in. Apply this outfit to the woman. Okay, well, it did it this time. Let's go through things one by one. Firstly, you can see that it has done a okay job of passing on the outfit that we've selected earlier to the character. Let's pull them up side by side so we can see and make sure that everything is there. So we can see that it's taken the shirt and she's wearing it. We've got the shoes down here. Yeah, those are the right shoes. The watch, the purse, the sunglasses kind of hanging there off the hands. And the model has even figured out that the jeans are rolled up over here, which implies that they would be kind of at the calf length, and it's applied them perfectly here. It's even realized that there's a little bit of scuffing over here, and it's applied a little bit of that here to the front. So it's done a great job of applying that. However, I've personally found that getting it to actually produce this result consistently is not great. A lot of the times it will edit the existing image and apply the clothing to her. So in this particular case, we had a new image generated where it was able to do all of that. Now, going back to the previous example, there is a solution to it. Let's say that we had the image where it had only applied the clothing to the profile image and we wanted the entire outfit. Well, one of the things that Nano Banana is very good at is giving us the rest of the area around it. So I've loaded in the original profile image. We're going to say zoom out to show me her full body. And we can see here, again, it's done a great job. Now, one of the things that I love about Nano Banana, which again, other models struggle with, is when we do an activity like this where we're zooming out, and we're not necessarily increasing the number of pixels, a lot of other models will struggle with smaller details. This is when we start to have issues with hands, feet, facial expressions, and so on. As we're making them smaller, the model struggles to replicate them successfully. However, with Nano Banana, we can see that the face continues to be perfect and without problems. The hands are generated almost perfectly with very little, if not no issues at all. Legs and feet are all handled perfectly, and we've got details in the pants, creases, and so on. So the model has done an amazing job when it comes to that. You can see here this image from Denis Shuryev on Twitter, or X, where he's posted a image that he's attempted to restore. The image looks like this. There's very little detail here. It's extremely blurry. However, Nano Banana is able to turn it into this. And I think it uses a combination of what it recognizes in the image, as well as its massive world model to figure out where it is and recreate that same image based on the image that we've provided. Here's another example from Jake Bauman, where we can see this picture of Nikola Tesla getting recolored. These are things that before would have taken hours on Photoshop can now be done with a single prompt. Oh, okay, well, I missed it in the post earlier, but the image that was restored was the first picture ever taken. This is what it looked like, and this is what it looks like after we fixed it with Nano Banana, giving us a perspective back in time of what this particular scene looked like. Here are a couple of more examples from Patrick Asale. I think these are actual examples provided by Gemini, where we can see here these ripped and uncolored images, and on the right here, they are restored perfectly in color. Coming back to our character, another cool thing that we can do with Nano Banana is we've got this character over here with her outfit. Let's turn the outfit into a flat lay. So let's turn the outfit the woman is wearing into a flat lay. This is fantastic for editorial situations where, let's say, for example, you've got a picture of someone and you want to actually go through the items they're wearing and you need the flat lay of that. Well, now you can get it done with Nano Banana. And we've got the flat lay over here. However, there do seem to be a few issues with the flat lay. This does look like part of the torso has been removed and the pants do look a little bit filled up, but we can fix that with another prompt. I do find that very amusing. Adjust it so that the clothing items are more natural and folded. I'm going to avoid saying rather than making them look like they're on mannequins, which we don't want. Okay, let's see what the model can achieve with this additional instruction. Okay, so once again, we're running into those model limitations, at least on the chat interface. Let's grab it once more, as well as the prompt, and feed that into Kaiju Gen and see what we get. Not much better. So there are some limitations on what the model can do. Let's try it a couple more times with 2 more outfits I got online. I have a feeling that the issues we're running into could be because the articles of clothing are medieval in nature or fantasy in nature, and we don't see flat lays of that kind of outfit. So let's try something a little bit more traditional. I am specifically choosing a more challenging pose. If this still doesn't work, we'll take a step back to a more straightforward or front angle pose. So same thing, we've got the image in. Let's take the items of clothing the woman is wearing and create a flat lay. And we've got it right here. It's still not perfect. Again, I suspect it has more to do with the angle of the image. Let's have a look at her and, oh, I might be wrong, but we've got this oversized jacket over here with this belt purse, the trainers, and the socks with a heart, the square-shaped sunglasses. So we do indeed have the oversized jacket. We have the skirt over here, which could be a skirt, could be shorts. We've got the belt purse over here, the sunglasses, the shoes, and the socks. So there you go. A perfect flat lay from that image. So with all of this power with Nano Banana, we can start to do some even more amazing and interesting things. One of the areas where Nano Banana acts as a phenomenal tool is in creating videos and animations. If we now shift over completely to KaijuGen, and let's say that we're using this as our image generation platform, we can take any of the images that we generate either on Google AI Studio or on KaijuGen and start to animate them with the plethora of video models available. Over here on KaijuGen, if we select video, we've got Google's own VO model, including the fast model, which is significantly cheaper. We've got Hunyuan, we've got Kling 1.6 and 2, and we've got the WAN 2.1 and including the WAN 2.2 Turbo models. So we're going to go ahead and grab WAN 2.2 Turbo image to video, and I'm going to add the image of the woman that we had sitting down earlier. Let's just make a simple prompt. Gets up and walks down the street full of energy. And we can see here that the video animates on WAN. The video quality is not the best. If you want amazing video quality, use the WAN 2.2 full model. But we're not done with what Nano Banana can do. If we go back to the image in Nano Banana and re-upload the image that we had before, we can start to do things like, imagine this 5 seconds in the future where the woman is standing. Okay, so we've got the same image where the woman is now standing up. Let's grab that link, pop it in over here, and now let's continue with that same prompt. Imagine this 5 seconds in the future where the woman is walking. Let's not give it any additional detail. And what we're doing here is we're creating starting and end frames, which we're going to plug into another AI video model to give us the absolute control that we need to control the movement and what's happening in the scenes. So fine, we've got her moving here. So she stood up and she's walking. I'm not fully happy with that. So I'm just going to change the direction the woman is walking. And we want her walking away from the stairs. So after a few iterations, we got the character facing the right way that we wanted. And now we can take all of these images and feed them into our video model of choice with a first and last frame component. Over here, we've got WAN 2.1 first frame to last frame. ByteDance's Seed Dance also has a first frame to last frame feature, and so does the new Kling 2.1. However, they haven't released that to the API yet, so I don't have it integrated on KaijuGen, but rest assured, as soon as it's available, it will be on the platform, as well as the WAN 2.2 variant. So I'm going to show you guys starting with the WAN 2.1 version. WAN 2.2 will be a lot better when it comes out. I plugged in the first frame here and the last frame here, and I've done 2 videos. One where we start with the woman sitting down, then her standing up, and then another one with her standing up and then turning around. And the goal here is to show you how if you do this consecutively, you can put together the clips and actually have a story where you've just created the different keyframes. So looking at WAN, we've got the first clip here, and I've done it in 480 just so that we can generate them a little bit faster. And you can see the woman gets up, the camera's kind of a bit shaky, you know, she puts her hand there, she takes a pose, then she puts the hand on her, and we end up with the final frame, right? It's a little cropped in, but more or less it's there. And then you've got it from here, where she goes, poses again, and then walks backward. There's a little bit of funniness there where the leg turns around, but for the most part, we probably regenerated this once or twice. We could turn that into a single 10-second sequence. Let's have a look here at Kling, and again, we can see the character gets up, she gets straight into the pose, so she doesn't do that extra standing around that we had with the WAN model. And then we go from her standing, kind of meandering around, and then turns around. We don't have the weird legness that we had with WAN 2.1. You can see here how she kind of just like skips, and it works a little bit more naturally. Kling 2.1 also did provide some AI-generated audio with all of this. So you can see how powerful Nano Banana can be if you can start with an image and narrate your way through a scene, creating all of the keyframes. Now, one of the really cool things that Nano Banana can do is, as I've mentioned before, has this incredible world knowledge. And over here, Simon Tokumin from X is showing us how you can take something like this map, put an arrow, and tell Nano Banana, hey, show me the view from where this arrow is, and there you go. It's showing us the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'll test this up in just a moment. I just want to show you guys another example. We've got another one here where we've dropped the pin on Tokyo Tower, and we've got the arrow from this particular street over here, and there you go. It's pretty accurate. As you can see here, this road kind of runs across here, and then this road runs across the Tokyo Tower. Okay, not totally accurate, as we don't see the road that runs up to it. We do see the road that runs across. I don't think that there's a little waterfall grotto next to Tokyo Tower, but I mean, it recognized the landmark. It got the landmark in the image. The particulars may not be 100%, but it's still pretty cool that you can go from this map view to actually getting that visual perspective. Here's another scenario where we have this elevation model and we put the arrow and we kind of want to see the perspective of this scene from that arrow. And again, it's pretty good. We've got the lake over there. We've got the mountains on the right. It's not exactly perfect, as again, there's a little river grotto here that would have appeared on this, but again, it's a really great tool to visualize maps and other technical sheets and actually kind of help provide renderings on what it is you want to do. On the note of taking technical drawings and rendering them in real life, Nano Banana can also be used to take sketches, like in this particular situation where AI for Success is showing us this image frame here turned into a line art. Then they give Nano Banana a different color scheme and it recolors it. So that's a pretty easy one. Let's give that one a quick go. So I'm just going to grab this existing image and we're going to start by turn this into an anime cell shaded image. Okay, so once again on the chat, we didn't quite get the desired look. So we're going to try something else. We're actually going to grab a reference image. I love how Google doesn't support its own product. So the image I have is an AVIF file, which is Google's own image format, and we can't use that in Google AI Studio. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so I'm using the reimagine keyword again to tell Nano Banana to reimagine the image in the attached art style. And once again, it's refusing to do so. This is why I like to suggest an alternate platform, as the AI Studio can sometimes be a little finicky. Let's go back to image, grab the Gemini 2.5 FLAF, which is the editing model, in the image of the blonde woman in the art style of the second image. So let's grab that one. Let's upload the image and let's try again. Interestingly, we are running into the same issue for both. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the image format, as I did try and convert it. Okay, I'm trying this one more time. I've seen examples of it working, but as you can see, everything is not as it seems on social media. I've taken a screenshot to see if that solves the problem, and it looks like it has not. So we're going to take a different approach. We're going to grab this image, turn this image into line art. There we go. We've got the desired result. And now I'm going to grab this totally random color palette, and we're going to say, apply this color palette to the image. And let's see what we get. And there you have it. It's actually done a phenomenal job of coloring that in with the color palette. And it's chosen really good places to put it as well. I love how it's chosen this dark color here for the background, and it's chosen kind of colors that would work. Let's say that this was a stylized scene from an anime. I could see this being a skin tone. The hair looks like the right color of blonde. Absolutely brilliant. Let's take it a step further. Add more drama and shadows. Oh, wow. That is dramatic. Now let's say reimagine this 5 seconds into the future. Make the character move subtly. Okay, and again, let's see if we can actually create another keyframe for this. There you go. I mean, it's a subtle movement. It's 5 seconds in the future. It could be talking, could be looking at something. You could animate these keyframes and have the character just look slightly. But it doesn't end there. Let's go back to the picture with our character Lydia over here in the cyberpunk world. Let's turn this into a YouTube thumbnail announcing Nano Banana. And let's see what we get. I'm hoping it'll create a new image, which is 16 by 9, and that might be the image that you see in today's video. Okay, well, it announced Nano Banana, but it's not quite what we want. We want to go back to this image. Let's branch from here into a 16 by 9 thumbnail. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was telling you guys about how we tried to apply the clothing. In this particular scenario, I actually wanted a new image, which was white, and it just edited the existing image. So it is a little finicky when it comes to that. Turn this into a 16 by 9 thumbnail for YouTube. Yeah, you see, I'm having that same issue again. In a scenario like this, you're just better off putting the image on a canvas like this. So let's say we want our character to be on the side. Go ahead and download that as a PNG. Go back to Google Studio or KaijuGen, drop the image in. Now the model is going to have to edit that full canvas. So we can say, replace the white space with the rest of the image. Let's see if it actually works. I could have also probably used extend the image to fill the white space. Yeah, so it's kind of working. We'll try the second prompt. Extend the image to cover all the white space. Yeah, so what we've done here is probably a little mistake. You'll see here that it's extended the image, but it's actually kind of duplicated it. It looks a little weird and awkward. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back here and we're going to rebranch this and we're going to say, imagine the rest of the scene in the white space. So rather than trying to tell it to extend what is already there, I'm just telling it, imagine what the rest of the city looks like and use the white space. I hope that gives a better result. And of course, it's not behaving. Let's try this again. Seriously? A safety rating to imagine the rest of the city? Imagine the rest of the scene. Replace the white space with the rest of the scene. Let's see if that works. As you can see, Nano Banana's got a few restrictions on it, stuff that we hope will be removed when whichever Chinese company comes out with its competitor. I mean, Quen cannot, and it just blew Flux out of the water. There we go. So Google AI Studio just refused to let me expand that image. I had to come into KaijuGen and do it, and we've got that image over here. Something that could act as a phenomenal background for a YouTube thumbnail. So I'm just going to keep working here in KaijuGen just to make everyone's life a little bit easier. Let's replace the image with our new edit. And like I said, I'm going to put together a new interface just to make it easier to edit with Nano Banana. Let's close that out. And let's now put, this is a YouTube thumbnail, add the text. Google's new Nano Banana model is bananas. In the word bananas, place the text on the right side of the image. And let's generate. And there you go. I mean, I'm not too thrilled with the font and the text, but again, with further iteration and prompting, you can get 75% of your YouTube thumbnail done. In fact, I am going to add this as one of the options in the YouTube thumbnail selector. So let me know if this is the image that you clicked on when you saw this video. Here are a couple I posted on my Twitter so you can see how far we can push this model. So in this particular scene, we've got a picture of this couple and an image of two mannequins or two people kind of high-fiving each other, and we can turn that into that same couple performing that image. You can also take Nano Banana and feed it a whole bunch of separate images. In this cases, we've got a dress, a character, shoes, a horse, and so on, all as input images. And as I mentioned earlier, KaijuGen can take up to 8. Put it together in a prompt, and voila, you've got it all together. Now, one of the super powerful ways that you can use Nano Banana is if you have a consistent character. And we've already covered a few of those use cases here, such as having that consistent character be reused in keyframes for creating a short film or an animation. But what if you have a digital influencer that you want to create? Well, for that, there's a platform called Photo Fusion AI Studio. And you can see here, I've got Lydia set up, and they've integrated Nano Banana editing into this platform. What this allows you to do is it allows you to create or train your own AI influencer using either Flux, Quen, or WAN 2.2. So you can take any of the characters and go ahead and edit the image, select Nano Banana, and describe the changes that you want, as I did earlier. Now, they're also adding in the ability to add in more objects. You can see here, you can add in additional images. It's not fully ready yet, but by the time this video comes out, you'll be able to add in images and get the combined final result here. This makes it an incredible platform to create and manage your influencers. You can add in products, you can redress them, you can even animate them into videos straight from here. If you go into videos here, you can see these were all done using WAN 2.2, which is the default model for video generation. So you can create and manage your influencers all in one place, powered by Nano Banana. So what do you guys think? The applications for Nano Banana continue to be endless. I could be here for another hour and keep going through different use cases and scenarios. What are you using Nano Banana for? Please do let me know down in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please do like and subscribe. Especially want to help me out, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, where I have all kinds of extras and goodies for my Patreon subscribers, especially if you use Comfy UI. I also have a Discord where it'll be linked down below. I'd love to have you come over and show us what you're creating with Nano Banana. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.